Hello, I'm Byrd. Welcome back to my channel. Today, since we are already 4 months in to 2026, I'm going to do a library challenge check-in. I created a library challenge. I did this the previous year for myself when I was just on Bookstagram, but for 2026, since I started a booktube channel, I opened it up to anyone who wanted to join me in doing the challenge. So if you have not seen the full library challenge prompt video, I will link that for you. Without further ado, let's get into the 4 books I picked for January, February, March, and April. So for the month of January, the prompt was to find a genre that you rarely read or that you have never read. And for me, that genre is romance. I definitely don't gravitate towards any sort of romance book, especially with modern romances. I personally like clean romances. I like the cute romance stories, and I tend not to go to pick up a book that's main focus is the romance. If there's a romance within, like, second to what the main plot of that story is, that's usually the only time that I get romance in my books. I picked a young adult romance, Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This one wasn't like top tier writing. It's not, the characters they didn't really stick out to me, but just the overall romance and the fact that they were in high school, it just brought back a lot of nostalgia for me. And I actually got out my own CDs from high school and started listening to them alongside reading this book, and that just added on to my enjoyment of this book. The romance was just that cute high school romance, and for me, I met and dated my now husband in high school, so it was just kind of that reminiscing with that feeling and being connected to that feeling through these characters that I personally had in high school. And so that's what ended up being my enjoyment with this book. It was very on point for me, that a lot of the things coinciding together and just worked out for me. So that was my romance genre pick for January. And then moving on to February, the prompt was to read an author that you love. So any author that you really gravitate towards, really love reading. And for me, I'm working my way through the Dresden Files, and so I picked up Grave Peril by Jim Butcher and continued my spoiler vlogs with that book. There's not much I can say with this one other than it's just a continuation of Harry Dresden and him being a wizard detective, and this one added more characters and developed the world more, and I continued to enjoy this author and this series. And if you're interested, I have a full playlist of all these spoiler-filled Dresden vlogs, so make sure you've read the books, or you just don't care, you don't plan on reading this series for some reason, that everything is gonna be spoiled and told to you in these vlogs. But if you're interested, I will link that for you. And for March, the prompt was to pick a book with green on the cover. And I kind of let myself take it easy for March. I picked up 2 graphic novels, Garlic and the Vampire and Garlic and the Witch, volumes 1 and 2 by Bree Paulson. And I really enjoyed volume 1, Garlic and the Vampire. So Garlic is a young garlic girl that a witch actually grew a bunch of different vegetables in her garden, and they become sentient. And so Garlic is a girl who is very anxious, is very stressed, and throughout this first volume, she learns bravery and also kind of friendship, and also about not like prejudging a person before you meet them. So there's a lot of lessons, and this volume had a constructive story and theme to it. And then volume 2, Garlic and the Witch, it kind of lost me because I didn't see a clear motive for this volume, and where the ending ended up going, it left me in a place of not wanting to pick up the third one if there's gonna be a third one. So I would say if you're interested in picking these graphic novels up, I personally liked the first one. The second one, I think, gets too much into inserting things that the author wants to insert rather than telling a story. For sure, pick up volume 1. I think it's worth your time, and it's a cute, cozy story. And April was to have plants or floral filigree on the cover. I found my first 5-star out of all of these first few months of the library challenge with The Garden by Nick Newman. And this is a dystopian gothic horror. I'm going to give you very little going into it. I really think you should read this, especially if you're a fan of the genre of gothic horror and also dystopians and end of the world scenarios. So these 2 elderly sisters live sort of on this homestead, and as far as they know, no one else is alive in the world anymore until their wall they have built around their homestead is breached by a little boy. What they were taught growing up seems to not be completely true, and so they're left to question everything. And we do get flashbacks to these 2 elderly sisters' childhood and the family dynamic that happened back then, and it leads up to what's happening in the present. This book is not going to spell every single thing out for you, so if you're the type of person that needs like concrete line by line telling you about this world or about what's happening, you're not going to get that with this book. And so it may not be for you, but this is a book that lets you use your imagination and think through the things it's presenting you. That's also what kept me engaged in this book, and it was really hard to put down. I did both physically and listen to this on audiobook, so the audiobook is also great, but I constantly kept wondering if these 2 old ladies were crazy, what was going to happen to this little boy, if there are other people in this world. and what these monsters outside the walls are. So I definitely recommend you pick this up if it sounds interesting. And those are the 4 books I picked for the first 4 months of this year for the library challenge. And I will update you again with the next 4. If you would like, you can join just for the summer. You can pick 1 month that maybe you decide to join in. If it sounds interesting to you, it's all just to get you borrowing books from your library. So I would love to share in the support of multiple libraries. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see everyone in my next video.